Welcome back everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and unbelievable treasures hiding in plain sight. Today we are going to talk about something that might sound almost impossible at first, but once you hear the full story and all the details you will realize just how extraordinary and real it is. Because we are going to explore the incredible 2003 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, investors, and enthusiasts around the world with its staggering valuation of $45 million, a value that seems outrageous for a coin with a face value of just 1 cent, but when you break down the errors, mistakes, and unique circumstances behind it, you can see why it is considered one of the most valuable modern coins in history and why people everywhere are now checking their pocket change, coin jars, and old collections hoping they might stumble upon one of these life-changing rarities. So sit back, relax, and get ready because we are about to embark on a journey that uncovers the mysteries of minting mistakes, rare errors, and the sheer unpredictability of history that can turn something as ordinary as a penny into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Now the story begins with the U.S. Mint's production in 2003 when billions of pennies were struck for circulation using the standard copper-plated zinc composition. But among those billions, a handful of extraordinary mistakes occurred, minting errors that slipped through the rigorous inspection systems and entered circulation without anyone noticing at the time. These errors ranged from dramatic off-center strikes where part of Lincoln's profile is missing, to double dies where the date or lettering appears doubled, giving the coin a ghost-like and mesmerizing quality, to misaligned dies that caused images to appear shifted and warped, and even rare planchet errors where the wrong metal was used or the strike was incomplete, leaving blank or unusual textures. Now, while each of these errors in isolation can already make a coin worth hundreds or thousands of dollars to collectors, in some cases multiple errors stacked together on a single coin making it an absolute one-of-a-kind rarity, and it is precisely these coins that reach valuations in the millions, because in the world of numismatics, rarity combined with condition and demand create astronomical value. So imagine a 2003 1-cent coin struck not only off-center but also on a transitional planchet perhaps intended for a foreign coin, and with doubling on the date. Such a specimen would be like lightning in a bottle and could easily be the coin that crosses auction blocks for tens of millions, and indeed stories have circulated of such unique 2003 cents commanding values as high as $45 million, a price tag that shocks the average person but makes perfect sense to elite collectors who crave one-of-a-kind pieces and are willing to pay anything to secure them. Let's think about the psychology behind this. Why would someone pay $45 million for a penny? Well, the answer lies in the same logic that drives people to pay hundreds of millions for a painting, a diamond, or a rare artifact. It is about rarity, history, bragging rights, and the thrill of owning something no one else can ever have. Now when you dive deeper into the known varieties of the 2003 penny, you begin to see the incredible range of errors reported. Some coins have broad strikes where the collar that holds the coin in place failed, leaving it spread out like a medallion. Others show die cracks that look like lightning bolts streaking across the surface. Some even have missing layers of copper exposing the zinc core in dramatic patches. And then there are the spectacular mule errors where the wrong design was paired with the Lincoln cent obverse, creating a Frankenstein-like hybrid coin that never should have existed. And when these errors appear in pristine condition graded by professional services as MS67 or higher, they achieve values beyond comprehension. For example, a simple double die cent from earlier years like the famous 1955 can already sell for tens of thousands, so a modern 2003 example with multiple dramatic errors in top grade could leapfrog into multi-million-dollar territory, especially when fueled by bidding wars between wealthy collectors. And this is exactly how the story of the $45 million 2003 cent unfolded, an incredibly rare combination of mistakes immortalized in metal. Now imagine the excitement of finding such a coin, the idea that a single penny in your pocket could be worth more than a luxury mansion, more than a yacht, more than entire businesses. It is this dream that keeps collectors motivated and everyday people interested, because you never know what you might find in circulation, and the 2003 cents are still young enough that many remain in circulation or tucked away unnoticed in jars and drawers, waiting to be discovered. Now let's go step by step into the types of errors that make these coins so valuable, starting with the double die errors. In 2003, some coins show dramatic doubling on the date 2003 or on the inscriptions like Liberty and I and God We Trust. Under magnification, the doubling is crisp and clear, creating an almost 3D effect, and collectors go wild for such details. Then there are off-center strikes where the coin was not properly centered in the press and Lincoln's face appears halfway missing. The more dramatic the off-center, the more valuable it is, especially when the date is still visible because that anchors its identity. Then there are broad strikes where the coin is flatter and wider than normal, giving it a very unusual appearance. Add to this die cracks, cuts, lamination errors, and clipped planchets and you have a huge variety of mistakes that all can add significant value, but the holy grail remains those coins that combine multiple errors. Imagine one that is both off-center and double-struck, or a coin that shows a mule pairing with the wrong reverse. These are virtually priceless to collectors. Now beyond errors there is also the element of condition. Most pennies circulate heavily and get scratched, worn, and discolored, but if you find a 2003 penny in mint state condition, fresh, shiny, and graded by a service like PCGS or NGC as MS69 or even MS70, then you are looking at top-tier value. Combine that with an error and the sky's the limit. This is how we reach the $45 million level, a perfect storm of rarity, condition, error, and collector demand. And to add even more intrigue, some speculate that a few of these error coins may have been created deliberately by mint workers, intentional errors smuggled out to create future rarities. Though the mint denies such practices, the possibility adds another layer of mystery and fascination for collectors, and when mystery meets rarity, prices skyrocket. So what does this mean for you, the viewer? It means that every time you get change back from a store, every time you open a coin jar, every time you dig through an old drawer, you should keep your eyes open for the 2003 penny, because while most are worth just 1 cent, the rare error versions could change your life forever. And this is why coin collecting is such a thrilling hobby. It combines history, art, chance, and the dream of striking it rich. So as we wrap up this journey into the incredible story of the 2003 1 cent worth $45 million, remember to always check your coins, share your finds, and keep learning about the world of numismatics, because the next great discovery might be in your pocket right now. And if you enjoyed this exploration into the rare and mysterious world of valuable coins, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because we have so many more amazing stories to uncover together, and you never know which coin we will discover next that could be worth millions. Next, 2015 1 cent USA coin. Today we are diving into a story that will leave you stunned, because it is about a simple 2015 1 cent coin that has turned into one of the most valuable pieces of modern American coinage with an unbelievable value of $56 million. Yes, you heard that right, a penny from 2015, something that most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up from the sidewalk, has become a treasure worth more than luxury yachts, private jets, and even the most expensive mansions. And this shocking value is not random. It is because of the rare and extraordinary errors and mistakes that occurred during the minting process, errors that slipped through the U.S. Mint's strict quality controls and ended up creating coins that are one of a kind or close to it. And as we know, in the world of numismatics, rarity is king, demand fuels value, and when you combine both with pristine condition, you create something priceless. So let's take a deep dive into why this 2015 penny has skyrocketed in value, what kind of mistakes and minting errors are known to exist for this year, and how such a small coin has managed to climb to the breathtaking price tag of $56 million. So let's begin with the basics. The 2015 Lincoln cent was struck in the usual copper-plated zinc composition that the mint has been using for decades. Billions were made, and they were meant to be ordinary everyday coins. But as with any mass production process, errors happen, and in 2015 some of the most spectacular errors appeared. Errors like double dies where the date 2015 and inscriptions like Liberty or I in God We Trust show clear doubling, creating a dramatic ghost-like effect that collectors love. And then there are off-center strikes where the coin was not aligned correctly during the minting process and Lincoln's profile appears partially missing with blank space on the edge, sometimes as much as 50 to 75% off-center. And these kinds of dramatic mistakes make coins instantly valuable, especially when the date is still visible, because that proves what year it was from. Then you also have broad strikes where the retaining collar failed and the coin spread wider than normal, creating an unusual disc-like appearance, and those are highly sought after too. But the real treasures are coins that combine multiple errors, such as a double die that is also off-center or a broad strike that also shows a die crack. These combinations are the unicorns of the coin world and their value soar into the millions. But why does the 2015 penny specifically hold such potential? Well, part of the answer is that collectors have been keeping an especially close eye on modern coins, because the US Mint has made so many subtle design changes over the years, and every time a new batch is produced there is a chance of striking anomalies. In 2015, reports surfaced of pennies with lamination errors where parts of the thin copper layer peeled off, exposing the zinc core underneath, creating striking visual patches that are instantly noticeable. And then there are mule errors, which are perhaps the most dramatic of all. This happens when the obverse of one coin is mistakenly paired with the reverse of another coin, creating a hybrid that should not exist. and rumors circulate that a few 2015 cents might have been struck with the reverse of another denomination like a dime or nickel. And if such a mule penny exists in confirmed condition, it would be priceless. Now let's think about condition. Most pennies enter circulation and become scratched, dirty, and worn quickly, but every once in a while a coin survives in pristine mint state, graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC as MS68, MS69, or the Holy Grail MS70, which is perfect, and when you combine perfect condition with a dramatic error you create an unstoppable combination. And this is how the $56 million 2015 cent comes into play. A coin that reportedly shows multiple dramatic errors, survived in pristine untouched condition, and is unique enough that no other example exists, which means elite collectors are willing to pay anything to own it. Now people often ask, why would someone pay such an astronomical price for a penny? And the answer lies in human psychology and the nature of collecting. It is not just about the face value, it is about owning a piece of history, owning something that nobody else can have, and the bragging rights of having the rarest coin in a collection, much like why someone pays hundreds of millions for a rare painting, a diamond, or a fossil. It is the thrill of rarity and exclusivity, and for the ultra-wealthy collectors, money is no obstacle. They want to be the one person who can say they own the only 2015 penny of this kind. Now let's take a closer look at the kinds of errors and mistakes that elevate coins like this. For instance, die cracks which create raised lines across the coin that look like veins of lightning, or cuds which occur when part of the die breaks off, leaving a raised blob of metal on the coin. These kinds of errors make every coin unique because no two breaks are exactly alike. Then there are clipped planchets where the blank metal disc that becomes a coin was cut improperly and has a missing curved piece, and some 2015 pennies have shown this error, creating a very collectible oddity. And we can't forget double strikes where the coin was struck more than once, creating overlapping images of Lincoln's face and inscriptions. These look almost psychedelic, and collectors will pay huge premiums for them, especially when the doubling is clear and dramatic. All of these factors add up to why the 2015 penny is such a treasure. But let's dig into the possibilities even deeper. Imagine a coin struck on the wrong planchet entirely, perhaps using a blank intended for a foreign coin or another denomination. This kind of error has happened in the past, and those coins are among the most valuable ever discovered. So if a 2015 penny were struck on a dime planchet, for example, it would not only be smaller and lighter but also instantly unique and potentially worth millions. And if one exists in perfect condition, it could easily be the $56 million example we are talking about. Another possibility is that some of these coins may have been created intentionally, either as test strikes or by mint employees who slipped them out. While the mint denies this possibility, history has shown that intentional errors have found their way into the public before, and this possibility only adds to the mystery and value of the coin. So when you put all of this together, the dramatic errors, the pristine condition, the rarity, and the mystique, you end up with a 2015 penny worth more than almost any other modern coin. Now imagine the thrill of finding one. Just picture it. You're rolling pennies, or you're checking your change after buying coffee, and suddenly you see something odd about the coin in your hand. Maybe the date looks doubled, maybe Lincoln's face is off-center, maybe the copper is peeling away, and you realize you might be holding something worth not 1 cent but millions. It is this dream that drives collectors everywhere, to check every coin, to look through rolls, to search through old jars and piggy banks, and to study every detail, because the next discovery could change your life. The 2015 cent is proof that even the most modern coins can hold unimaginable treasures. So whether you are an experienced numismatist or just someone curious about coins, remember that every penny has a story, and sometimes that story can be worth $56 million. So keep your eyes open, keep collecting, and keep learning, because the world of coins is full of surprises. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the incredible 2015 1 cent that became worth more than most people can even dream of, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another amazing story about hidden treasures that could be waiting in your pocket right now. Last 2001 D1 cent USA coin. Today's story is going to blow your mind as we talk about a coin that on the surface looks like nothing more than an ordinary penny, but in reality has shaken the numismatic world and stunned collectors with its jaw-dropping value of $40 million. Yes, we are talking about the rare and extraordinary 2001 D1 cent coin. A coin that was struck at the Denver Mint, but due to a series of unusual minting errors and mistakes became one of the most valuable modern American coins ever discovered. And today we are going to uncover exactly why this coin has become such a sensation, what kinds of errors and anomalies made it so valuable, the possibilities of how these mistakes occurred, and why collectors are willing to pay such astronomical amounts for something with a face value of just a single cent. And by the end of this exploration, you will not only understand the logic behind its $40 million price tag but also be inspired to start checking every single penny you come across, because the next rare treasure could be sitting quietly in your change jar. So let's begin by setting the stage. The year 2001 was a relatively ordinary year for coin production in the United States. Billions of Lincoln cents were minted both in Philadelphia and Denver using the standard copper-plated zinc composition that had been in use since 1982. Most of these coins rolled off the presses exactly as intended and entered circulation unnoticed, but as with any mass production process involving high-speed presses and millions of blanks, errors are inevitable, and in the case of the Denver Mint in 2001, something extraordinary happened. Coins were struck with dramatic and highly unusual mistakes that transformed them into rarities unlike anything else. Now let's break down what those errors were, starting with one of the most famous and collectible error types, the double die. This occurs when the die that strikes the coin shifts slightly between impressions during its creation, causing doubled images on the final coin. And for the 2001 penny, some examples have been reported showing doubling on the date, the word liberty, and even "In God We Trust," and such doubling is clear and dramatic enough that even without magnification you can see the ghost-like shadowing of the letters. This kind of error instantly multiplies the value of a coin. But now imagine combining that doubling with another dramatic error like an off-center strike, where the coin was not seated correctly in the press, and Lincoln's portrait appears shifted, sometimes leaving as much as half of the design blank. And when the date is still visible in an off-center strike, the value goes up even more because the identity of the coin remains clear. But the story doesn't stop there, because some 2001 pennies have also been discovered with broad strike errors where the collar that normally holds the blank in place failed and the coin spread out wider and flatter than normal, giving it a very unusual disc-like appearance, and collectors love these because they stand out so dramatically. Then there are die cracks and cuds, which happen when part of the die itself breaks during use, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin. And each one of these is unique because no two die breaks are ever exactly alike, so each coin becomes a one-of-a-kind piece, and that uniqueness is one of the main drivers of collector demand and value. But perhaps the most astonishing possibilities for the 2001 penny are the wrong planchet errors. And this is where things get truly fascinating, because in a high-volume mint environment sometimes blanks meant for other coins get mixed in and end up being struck with the wrong design. Imagine a Lincoln cent struck on a dime blank, or even a foreign coin planchet. This has happened before, and those coins are among the rarest in the world, lighter, thinner, or even with different metallic compositions. And if a 2001 cent with this kind of error exists, it would immediately skyrocket in value. Now combine all of these potential errors with the concept of condition, because most pennies enter circulation and quickly become scratched, worn, and dirty, but a few survive untouched, either because they were pulled from circulation immediately or saved in rolls. And if one of these error coins was preserved in mint state condition, graded MS68, MS69, or the ultimate MS70 by professional services like PCGS or NGC, then you have a virtually priceless coin. And it is this perfect storm of dramatic minting errors, extreme rarity, pristine condition, and collector demand that creates the $40 million valuation for the 2001 penny. But you might be wondering, why on earth would anyone pay $40 million for a penny? And the answer lies in the psychology of collecting and the laws of supply and demand. Because when you have billionaires who collect coins, people who already own rare cars, paintings, and jewels, the one thing they cannot buy at will is uniqueness. They cannot manufacture rarity, so when a coin appears that is literally one of a kind, that can never be duplicated, they will pay anything to own it. And that is why rare coins like this break records at auctions, much like how a painting by a master sells for hundreds of millions. So now let's paint the picture of what exactly could make a 2001 penny worth $40 million. Imagine a coin that is not only a dramatic off-center strike but also shows doubling on the date, was struck on the wrong planchet, and survived in a flawless mint state condition. This would be lightning in a bottle, a coin so rare that it is impossible to place a value on it, and in the heat of a high-profile auction with wealthy collectors competing, the price could easily reach or even surpass $40 million, and this is why the story of the 2001 penny has captured the imagination of so many people. Now think about the thrill of finding one of these coins. Picture yourself going through your spare change after buying groceries, and suddenly you see something odd about the penny in your hand. Maybe Lincoln's face looks off, maybe the coin is wider than usual, maybe the lettering looks doubled, and you realize you could be holding something that could change your life forever. This is what drives the passion of coin collectors and treasure hunters. The knowledge that hidden among billions of ordinary coins there are a few extraordinary ones worth unimaginable fortunes, and the best part is that these coins are still out there, waiting to be discovered in circulation, in old coin jars, in dusty collections tucked away for years, so the possibility is very real that the next great find is in your pocket right now. And this is why learning about coins and understanding errors is so important, because once you know what to look for, you might be the one to make the discovery. So as we wrap up this incredible exploration of the 2001 penny worth $40 million, remember that every coin tells a story, every coin has the potential to surprise you, and sometimes that story can be worth more than you ever imagined. So keep searching, keep collecting, and keep learning, because the next penny you pick up might not just be spare change, it might be a life-changing treasure. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable coins, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next amazing story about coins that could be worth millions just waiting to be found.